He's a former NFL long snapper, a devoted husband, a father of three, a caretaker of chickens, ducks, and whatever else visits the Texas farm, a homeschool professor now. It's the one and only Pat Scales.
Welcome to the Out Route with your host, Lauren Screeden.
Patrick Scales, welcome to the Out Route.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
I think that's the first time I've called you Patrick because Patrick, you've always been Pat to me, but I guess technically we're going Patrick.
Most people call me Pat. You have always called me Pat. I don't know why you call me Patrick there, but
I know. That's what I thought was weird too. It was a very professional intro, but we're not here to be professional. So normally our interviews have been like 5 minutes on a couch at Hallis Hall, but today
Yep.
we're going a little more in depth. So marry, fuck, kill. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so where do I even want to start? We talked birth name. So birthplace, according to Wikipedia,
Yeah.
Kentucky? I had no idea.
Louisville, Kentucky, pronounced Louisville.
Louisville. I did learn that. I learned that when I went to school at Indiana. It said Louisville once, and people were like,
Yes.
no.
Everybody in the baseball world says Louisville Slugger, and it's like, you're not from there. Born in Louisville. My dad's family was from Louisville. He was born and raised there. And then my dad was a corporate salesman. So growing up, we actually moved around quite a bit. But Louisville, he worked for GE in Louisville, which brought us there. And then we moved around a whole bunch too.
Okay, so where did you live the longest?
Utah. We moved to North Ogden, Utah, little town called Pleasant View, Utah, when I was going into 7th grade. So I did 7th grade through high school there, and then got recruited by all of the local mountain schools and some other schools. Ended up staying in Utah for college and went to Utah State. So lived there a total of 10, 11, 12 years, somewhere in there.
Wow. And, Utah has a reputation sometimes. Utah's beautiful, but what was it like growing up there?
It was interesting. It was very interesting, especially as like a kid. You don't really know, right?
Mhm.
But obviously, there are a lot of Mormon LDS people, a lot of good people there. It was nice. I liked it. I mean, it was tons of outdoor stuff, which we loved. And when we moved there, my parents didn't renew like our DirecTV or cable or whatever. Like we didn't have TV. Whatever we plugged the TV into the wall is what we had. So we had like 10 channels, and my mom was like, "Get outside. Like we live in the mountains. Go find stuff to do. Go fishing. Go hiking. Go hunting. Go do whatever." So it was awesome. Going to school was interesting though. They tried to convert me to Mormonism multiple times. Never took. So stayed strong. Not that it's a bad thing, right? But I mean, I don't know.
It's funny though, because Kevin
Yeah.
served with a lot of Mormon guys, and actually the last reserve base that he was at was in Utah, and
Mm.
so he knows a lot of. And now we're in Wyoming. You've obviously spent a lot of time here too, but that's pretty prevalent up in the valley from where we are down to like the Salt Lake area. So I am
Yeah.
experiencing some of that
Yeah, for sure.
pressure.
How are you? They try to convert you? Stay strong.
No, honestly, nobody comes out here. Like, we're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that's exactly where you need to be. That's perfect.
Yeah.
No, we loved it. We loved it. I mean, the culture's a culture and it was fine. It didn't bother us at all. But like living there with the outdoors, I mean, you live out in the mountains, you get it. Like it was fantastic. As a young boy growing up, it was a blast. We had a great time.
And now you're not in the mountains now, but it seems like you've definitely passed that on or encouraged that now with your own kids and what you guys got going on now in Texas, right?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, we're always outside. And the hard thing about Texas is that it's so hot here. Luckily, we have a pool. That's my one requirement for wherever we live in Texas is like we have to have a pool because the summertime is unbearable. There's nobody outside because it's so hot. But we're always outside. We have chickens and ducks. We're venturing into the idea of getting some cows, some cattle for meat and possibly dairy, which is interesting. Yeah, so we love it. We're always outside collecting eggs, rounding up chickens, helping, doing whatever. Always outside though, always. If you're bored, go outside. Go find something to do.
I love that because that is definitely lost on kids nowadays and
Hmm.
adults in general. I mean, since we've been here, I'm like looking for all sorts of new hobbies and things like that and things that I wouldn't normally do. I mean, we do have a chicken coop at this new house. It's
Do
a
you?
very nice chicken coop. There are no chickens in it yet.
Are you gonna get some?
I don't know. Listen, they seem like a lot of work, and I am
They're
very
not.
close with your wife, and I see, like, no,
They
they might
can
not be
be.
a lot of
Don't
work,
get me
but
wrong.
they can be, and you get attached to them, and
Yeah,
you name them, and you generally don't have chickens as long as you have, like, a dog, and I don't know if I could
no.
handle that.
Yeah, I think they only live like 7 to 9 years or something like that if they get there. Because we had a bobcat. We had a bobcat that came. It was picking them off. It was a it was like a small dog. It was much larger than a house cat,
That's
probably twice the
crazy.
size as like a normal house cat, which doesn't seem big, but then I caught it on camera. I ended up buying some like trail cameras and security cameras and they run on cell networks so they go out in the backyard and can, activate whenever. Yeah, we caught this thing with a chicken in its mouth that hopped the fence. And it's killed multiple ducks, multiple chickens, probably like five, six of each. And so we had to handle it. We had to get rid of it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, see, I have seen a fox out here since we moved, so I feel like it's
Yeah.
just the chickens could be under attack out here. I don't know if I'm ready for that. We accomplished sourdough this last week, and so we're taking little baby steps into the trad wife world.
Did you accomplish it? Because I think I saw a post where maybe you didn't.
Yeah, I did. Okay, so it took like longer than it should have.
That's good though. You stuck with it.
I stuck with it. I
Exactly.
prevailed,
Yeah.
and we made our first successful loaf this week. So
Nice. There you go. You're on your way to a homestead. Believe it or not.
that's right. We're well on our way. I told Kevin, I feel like I'm at, like, Boy Scout or Girl Scout camp out here
Yeah.
because every day it's like, I'm gonna get a vest and start giving myself patches for, like,
Badges. Yeah.
lumberjacking, archery. I've just
Yes.
all the things I never thought I would be doing.
All the accomplishments. Put them right there.
Yes,
Let them see them.
that's right.
That's
Okay,
awesome.
so we're gonna go back to Utah. You end up going to college there and playing football in college, correct?
Correct. Yep. I walked on to Utah State. I didn't have any scholarship opportunities coming out. I was a tight end and long snapper. I really wanted to play tight end. I thought it was an awesome position. I thought I fit it well. The problem was I'm not fast. And so that's kind of coaches don't like that, I don't know. I don't know why,
It's
but
something they look at, I guess. Whatever.
yeah, yeah, it's kind of a marker that they look for. Um, but anyways, I didn't get a scholarship. I did a bunch of visits to a bunch of schools, and Utah State just felt right. I don't know why. I was less nervous there. It just kind of I felt like a really good fit from the time I stepped on campus. And honestly, I just wanted to play football. I wanted to play Division I football, which I was given the opportunity for walking on, and I just wanted to play right away. I could have walked on to bigger schools where they take a long snapper every year, and I didn't want to sit on the bench. I was like, dude, I want to play football like now. And luckily, Utah State was not very good. So, so I was like, I could go on and like compete for a starting job, maybe. I don't know. Call me crazy. That didn't happen right away. I redshirted my freshman year. Actually, I earned the starting long snapping spot my true freshman year, but I was playing tight end also. And in training camp, I got injured. I got a guy thrown into my knee and sprained my MCL. And so, like, you know what? You're going to redshirt, which was great because then I got to, physically mature and grow an extra year and all that
Mhm.
sort of thing. So it was the best thing. But then, yeah, after that, they said, look, you got injured and you're this long snapper, but there's nobody to back you up. So if you get injured again, like we were good last year, we had a guy, but we have nobody moving forward to back you up. So what if you just long snap for us? And I had talked to the senior long snapper, and he's like, he converted from a lineman, so he went from
Oh, big
lineman
boy. Okay.
Big boy. He went from lineman practices where they just work those guys all day, every day, and he's like, "Scales, you got to do this. This is the best life ever, dude. I practice like 20, 30 minutes a day. You throw some balls between the legs. You stand and joke around with the boys. Like, this is the life. Trust me, you're gonna want to do this." And so I thought back to that conversation when coach asked me, like, do you just want a long snap? I was like, you know what? Yeah, that sounds pretty good because they're taking kids for a scholarship kid every year for tight ends. So I'm like, I'm a walk on trying to fight with these guys. Like they want their scholarship guys to play, whatever. So like, yeah, I want to play. That's all I want to do is just play football. So from that point forward, I was just long snapper.
I mean, that is pretty good advice, honestly. Because when we used to see you guys now, I want it out there that when I would see you in the building, you guys were always working, but the specialists had a different schedule, even in the NFL
Yeah.
than the other guys.
You work hard, you play hard, and our work just didn't take that long. You can only snap and kick and punt so many footballs. If you got it,
Exact
you got it. You're good. Move on.
You don't wanna burn out.
Exactly. You get it. A lot of people don't, but you get it.
So, okay, then when was the moment you thought, "I wanna make this a career, I wanna try and get to the NFL?"
So we had at Utah State, we had a weight coach, a graduate assistant weight coach who was a long snapper in college also. He went to East Carolina. He's actually weight coach at NC State now, Brandon Howard. Shout out Brandon. He started coaching me up a little bit and he was like, "You have got to go to this summer camp, this invite only for my snapping coach. Come do this. It's going to be awesome. You're going to learn and you're going to compete against like guys at bigger schools and it's going to be awesome. So come do this." So I was like, okay. So they actually did it in Chicago every year. So I'd fly out to, and they do it at Elmhurst University,
Yeah, oh, yeah, Elmhurst Co
University of Elmhurst College. There you go. So we'd rent that field and stay in the dorms, and there was guys from like Oklahoma and Clemson and Oregon and like all the big schools, right? Every conference was represented. Little Pascals from Utah State, not knowing what's going on, and we start snapping. It's a 2-day camp, and I'm kind of like looking around. I'm like, okay, I can hang with these guys, blah blah blah. And I think my first year I ended up finishing like top 5 in the camp or top 10 or something like that out of like 50 guys. And I'm like, I might be kind of good at this. I don't know, I might have something here. So from that point forward, I was like, well, let's just like try to like really focus in and really learn and master this craft and make a run for it. And this is probably my sophomore year in college. So then I had like 2 or 3 years left to really kind of make a push for it and get better and better and go for it. But it was at that summer camp that it kind of switched in my brain that I was like, I could do this. I think I could do this.
So for those of us who haven't long snapped,
Yes.
when you talk about perfecting that craft, what does that entail? I mean, you put some speed on that ball.
Mhm.
Speed, accuracy, what goes into that?
Yes, accuracy over everything, in my opinion, because you want to throw a consistent ball. The punter wants to know where you're going to throw it every time. And the coach, you have to earn the trust with the coach. The coach wants to know where you're going to throw it to, and he's going to find out what your limits are, where you're going to mess up, what's your worst snap, right? This is what they're actually trying to find. And if you never show one, then you don't have one. But to master the craft to me would be, it's kind of like a pitcher. Like you just want to be able to control it. I want to throw it because when you get to the NFL, it gets down to details of if we're punting right, you got to hit the right hip. If you're punting left, he's going to offset, and then you got to hit the left hip. Like you have to control where you want to throw this thing. If it's a windy game, you're going to have to aim it in the wind and kind of aim outside of his hip and let it drift into where you want it to go. There's stuff like that, and unless you have complete control of the ball, then you're not going to be able to succeed at the level. There's no magic for it. It's just figuring it out and working and doing 10. It takes 10,000 hours to become a master at something. That's kind of what it is. It's just work, 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 and figure it out. But it gets to the point where I mean, I could snap a ball and I can feel the way that it comes off my fingers and I know where it's going and how fast and if it's a good snap or not.
It's crazy, and I'm glad you remind people of that because everybody always thinks that the kicker has to take into effect the wind and all of that, but it actually affects, a lot more
Mhm.
than that. Like, you have to take that into account as well.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, for sure. And then to add on top of that, the kicker is then he's accounting for his own wind and stuff like that, but then he's accounting for you too. So you have to build that trust and relationship. That's why it's always like you got to trust the whole operation. But the kicker is like, dude, can I trust these guys? So we got to practice in those inclement weather and situations and practice crap to figure out if you got it or not.
So you come into the league undrafted,
hmm
and who gives you your first chance?
It was 2011. It was the year of the lockout. So there was no
Oh, wow.
OTAs. Yeah, there's no OTAs, and nobody knew if we are going to have an NFL season. So they allowed the draft to happen, and I'd gotten called right after the draft by Baltimore, by the Ravens. And they said, "We like you, but we're not allowed to do anything. We just want to call and say hi and say that you're on the radar." So I'm like, okay, cool. and that's in April. So then May and June go by, and the majority of July, and I'm like, everyone's like, "Is it going to happen? We don't know." Well, finally they say the season's going to happen, and Baltimore calls, and they're like, "Hey, you're hopping on the plane tomorrow. Do you want to be a Baltimore Raven?" Yeah, absolutely. So hop on the call and went to Baltimore, not knowing anything. It was rough. I had a rough first training camp because there's no OTAs. I had no idea what to prepare for.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, I'm speechless just even thinking of that. It's like, okay, you're having your first shot in the NFL and then having no preparation and you're literally going the next day. I mean, in a sense, maybe it was kind of better to like rip the band-aid off. If they were like, "We'll see you next week," I think I would have spent a week freaking out.
No, yeah, you're probably right about that. You're probably right. I wish there would have been the only regret that I really have. Well, one was like for actual like the job duties of long snapping. I had no idea what actually needed to do. I thought I was good enough. For the first like 2 years I was trying to make a team, I was not good enough. I wasn't. But for that first training camp, I wish they would have told me to train a little bit harder for that conditioning test. Lauren, I when I tell you that I failed it roughly 7 times, I failed it. They
No.
they they eventually just said like, we're not going to test you anymore, but what you have to do, however many times you failed it, you have to spend a every day, 1 day for every day you failed it, running it again. So I ran it like 10, 14 times or something
Oh
like
my
that.
god.
It was brutal. It was like,
What are they testing in that? Is this like what are they doing?
keep in mind, like I said, I'm not fast, so it was a struggle. Most conditioning tests, like, aren't that bad. I mean, they're tough, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
Baltimore's is on a different level. We did 150-yard shuttles at 25-yard intervals. So you run 25 yards, 25 yards, 25 yards, 25 yards, 25 yards, 25 yards. So you cut 5 times, right? And it's the cuts
Yeah.
that kill you because you have to stop and burst out. So you got to do that. You have to run it in 30 seconds. And I think we got like a minute rest or something like that, which sounds like a lot of time. It's not a lot of time.
No.
But after like the third rep, my lungs were on fire. I couldn't feel my legs. I was not prepared whatsoever for this test. The first day we ran it, we went and did physicals, and I was an introvert, believe it or not. I've learned to blossom into this beautiful flower that you see
Yeah,
now.
what?
I know. Every personality test, I was always an introvert. Anyway, so I'm like a little introverted, and I'm like, there's kids from Alabama, like these big schools. I'm from Utah State. What am I doing? Do I even fit in here? You got all those like bad thoughts running through your head, and you got to block them out. But then I hear this guy starting to talk about the conditioning test, and like, yeah, it's gonna be the same as last year. It's 150-yard shuttles, blah blah blah. And my heart is just like dropping. I'm like, I'm so screwed. My coach was like, "What the are you doing? Like, how many times are you gonna fail this thing?" I'm like, I'm trying, I swear.
I mean, I think back to, like, the pacer test. Did you ever have to run the pacer test at school?
It rings a bell. Is that one where you have to keep up with like the beeps?
Yes. Yeah,
Yes, I think in elementary school or junior high or something. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Do
I mean, that was enough to do me over. I don't think that, I would pass the Ravens physical fitness test. They would be sending me back, like Max
yeah.
Crosby. JK, not really. Anyways, okay, so you said the first 2 years, you thought that you
Mhm,
were good enough.
mhm.
And it was a rude awakening. I guess how did you go about overcoming that hurdle and getting to the level where you had a shot with other teams?
Luckily, I kept getting called throughout the season. The first year, I didn't make it. They cut me after the 3rd or 4th preseason game, and, I was a free agent from then on out. But throughout the season, I kept getting calls for workouts, and a lot of times it wasn't, like, for me personally to work out, but it was for, like, the team, whoever called me, like the Redskins or somebody or Commanders now. They called me one time, and, it was for kickers. And so you're then on for the specialist. There's like a specialist circuit. So if the team needs a kicker, they're going to bring in a snapper. They're going to bring in a punter to hold. They're going to need like a whole operation if they're serious about signing a guy. So I got a lot of those calls. Not many about actual jobs, but that was kind of nice because it made me figure out how to go and audition and try out for these teams, what they expect. Everyone's a little bit different. Some of them made you run plays, some of them made you test different stuff, but most of them are just there to have you snap, right? And so piecing that together along with my first Baltimore training camp, I learned a ton. And then my second year, I went back with Baltimore and did another training camp thinking surely they won't fire me twice. They did. fire me twice because I didn't grasp it. The role for long snapper in college and in the NFL is just different. It's completely different. In the NFL, you're required to snap perfect snaps, which is hard enough as it is, but then you're responsible for blocking also, and that's a whole different aspect. And so, and then the only way to really practice that is to just put yourself in the fire and do it. And it's you can't really replicate it outside of practices with the speed and physicality of all the guys. So it makes it very difficult. For me, it was just repetition. I just needed more training, more repetition, more training camps, and essentially my biggest coaching point to myself was just like do it faster. You have to nail a snap first and foremost, but then like protection wise, do it faster. You just have to do it faster. And I just taught myself how to do it faster.
So what was your first NFL game?
First NFL game was a preseason game. We were in Philadelphia, of all places, which is not an easy place to play, as you know. And I was so nervous. I'm like my hands were shaking. I was so nervous. I was freaking out. My first snap was awful. It was like high and right, way outside. The punter had to reach out like that. And then on top of that, the guy wasn't even rushing me. It's called a six box, and they come in and shock the snapper and slide over to block the guard. Well, this dude shocked me, and I was not prepared for the level of physicality that he was bringing to the table in that particular rep. And he put me right on my back. I snapped the ball, I picked my head up, and I was on my back. And I thought, oh my god, this is so bad.
Welcome to the NFL.
Yes, exactly. Welcome to the NFL. That was the welcome to the NFL moment. I thought I was prepared, and I was not. And then so the next day, so I get through the game, wasn't great, right? And then next day, Jerry Rosberg was the special teams coordinator, and he ran a tight ship. They were always a very good special teams unit, but he was a hard coach to play for. He demanded a lot, which also like raised my game and made me elevate my own skills so that I could actually make a team. So I'm very thankful for him. He's one of the best coaches I've ever had, but he was very difficult to play for. He demanded a lot and he demanded perfection. But in the meeting after the game, there's the old red dot. Oh, look at this guy. Look at this young snapper. Huh? Let's check his rep out. Right to his back. He has no idea how to protect himself. Okay. Guess what we're going to do today, Scales? We're going to teach you how to protect yourself. And so I'm thinking like, great. And this is from the whole special teams unit. So then later that day at practice, he gets a gentleman by the name of Sergio Kindle, who was a first round draft pick edge rusher for the Ravens back in 2010, I think. So this guy's in his second year and just typical edge rusher, one of the most explosive human beings you've ever seen. He gets Sergio in a moment of Sergio's free time during practice. He said, "Hey, Sergio, come over here. Would you mind teaching our young snapper how to protect himself?" He says it real kind and nice like that. And Sergio's like, "Yeah, I can do that, coach. What you want me to do?" "Well, what I want you to do is just run as fast as you can at him and blow him up every time. We're gonna do about 10 of these, Sergio. Can you do that for me?" "Yeah, coach, I got you." I'm like, geez. Okay, all right, cool. So that's trial by fire. That's why I taught like you snap the ball and you got to get up fast, and that's why I taught myself like you just do it faster because this dude's about to eat your lunch, and he did.
My gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, so of the 10 times, at what point did you get it? Hopefully like 4 or 5?
Of that, no, maybe one or two where I was like, I at least held my own. By no means did I actually block this guy. It just like it was more of a speed bump.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Oh
Later in
my
my
gosh.
career, I took on a saying as I would block people much larger than me, like the Roy Robertson Harrises of the world,
Mhm.
6'6", 300 plus. They used to put him in the A gap too, and it's like my only motto for those is just die a slow death. Just slow his feet down enough so he doesn't block the punt. That's what you got to do.
This is great advice here. Just, die a
Yeah,
slow death. That's
die
good.
a slow death. Yeah.
I mean, in all of this, it's like, okay,
Hmm.
there's practice squads, there's coming in to snap, not necessarily having a job, which is interesting. I think about it. It would be like me getting a call to like go and produce something while also like wanting to be on air. And so I can only imagine like everything that's going into this whole mindset. How are you handling just the ups and downs and literally the uncertainty every day?
It's tough. It's very tough. In that time, I mean, is very uncertain, obviously. Like, like I'd been cut a couple times. So you always know that that's in the back of your mind, like a couple bad practices or whatever. Like you can't think that way, but it's there. You just gotta block it out. How I handle honestly, Brandy was my rock the whole time. She kept my head level. She kept me in it. She kept me going. She kept me focused because there was rough days. I mean, there was days. There was a day in Baltimore training camp I cried. I cried.
No.
Yeah, and I was just like, "Man, do I even belong here?" Like, I got crushed that day on film review or something like that, and she was great. She always picked my head up, and yeah, it's just one of those things you just kinda swallow, digest, chuck it out. You gotta keep going. Do you want it? How bad do you want it? If you want it, keep going. If not, bow out.
Since you bring up the beautiful Brandy, how did you guys meet?
We met in college. We met at Utah State. Brandy was a gymnast. I was on the football team, and she was actually, she came over to our house to hang out with one of my roommates actually, and nothing transpired there, but I was like, "Ooh, she's cute." And so we started hanging out, and one thing led to another. Here we are, 3 kids in a homestead.
3 kids, 22 chickens.
Yeah, whole flock.
She is such a rock star though. I mean, to hold
Yeah.
things down and to not only be there for you, but then to also I mean, the NFL season is not easy on families. It's fun
Uh,
and people see, the sideline pictures and all of that,
mhm.
but it's tough, right?
It's very tough. It's very tough on families, and I think one of the things that helped Brandy the most was her gymnastics background. Because those girls, when they take it serious, because she was an elite gymnast. I mean, she was on track for the Olympics, the whole nine. She was on scholarship at Utah State. She took it very serious, but she had some European coaches where they take it extremely serious, right? And it was
Mhm.
over here in the U.S., obviously, but they rewire those girls' brains to where like they don't feel pain. All they know is like go, 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 and you just on to the next, on to the next, on to the next. So she was great for me. She was such a awesome foundation for me because she had that mindset and she had that like, yes, it sucks, but we're gonna keep going. Like this is the path. We're on it. You got this. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, digest it, spit it out. Let's go.
That's why she doesn't sleep. Okay, her brain was rewired. I get
Yeah,
it. I
yeah,
get it.
yes,
That's why she goes
exactly.
1,000 miles a minute.
Yes.
No, but I mean, how cool is that to have somebody not only when you have a partner who supports you, but someone who also has that athlete mentality?
For sure. Yeah, it's been great. It's been absolutely phenomenal. I've leaned on her a lot. And I think it's no coincidence at all that we fell in love and are still married. I'm glad God put her in my life. I'm very grateful for her.
And you guys spent how many years in Chicago?
10,
10 years.
10
Wow.
years.
When you finally got to Chicago, was there a moment where you thought, "I can exhale a little bit? I have a home," or was it still just that anything could happen at any point in time?
Kind of both at the start, definitely not. I was still in that mode of keep going. Well, actually, my first year, so I got picked up in 2015 after Thanksgiving. I didn't have a great 2015. I was just, kind of nervous, feeling out the guys, didn't perform my best. So they told me like, yeah, we want to keep you, but we're definitely going to challenge you. And so I was like, okay. So I knew going into 2016 training camp that I have to earn my spot back. So I definitely wasn't relaxed that year. Then they actually cut me in 2016 for one day, and then brought me back the next day. And so
Did they tell you they were gonna bring you back the next day, or was it just like a mind fuck, for lack of a better word?
It wasn't even that. It was they ran into a situation. They had a guy that ran into a situation and they had to let him go. The guy that took my job in 2016, he went out and did some stuff and they're like, "Yeah, we're not cool with that." So they cut him and they called me back. They're like, "Hey, how far did you get? Because we want to bring you back." So I was like, "Oh, okay." But then in 2017, I tore my ACL.
I remember that. Oh,
After 2016, I wasn't comfortable in 2017 because I'm like, well, they cut me last year. Like, who knows what's going to happen? And then in 2017 preseason, I tore my ACL. And so I'm like, okay, so then I have to rehab that. We got a new special teams coach in 2018 when I was coming off the ACL. So I had to prove to him that one, I'm healthy. Two, I can still play. Three, I know his system, like all that stuff, right? And then in 2019, we went to Denver, I believe. No, this is 2018. Coming off the ACL in 2018, we went to Denver and we did a joint practice, which I'm not a fan of. And I still wasn't relaxed, but I did so bad at this joint practice. I was the only snapper on roster, and I did so bad when we did punt period. I think they blocked 6 punts against us that day or something like that. And like
oh
and we got
no.
like we got like 10 punts to do, and they blocked like half of them, and they were my fault.
Oh no.
They were my fault. The next day they had a long snapper there. The next day they had a young rookie kid, and I was like, wow, I did that bad. And so I was like, "Okay,
Oh,
all right." It's all just learning lessons, like, you can't slip up at all. You can't have an off day.
yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah. And then in 2019, I talked to my coach. He wanted me. We had a rookie signed with us, and he wanted me to sit out the last preseason game. He's like, "Hey, let's just give all the snaps to this rookie. You take the day off or whatever." And I was like, does that mean I'm safe, or is it should I be worried?" And he was like, "No, no, no. You're Scalesy. You're the guy. Don't worry about it. You're safe. You're safe, brother." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Wow. At that point, I was like, "I made it. We did it." So from 2011 to 2019.
Just in constant fight or flight the whole time. But 2019, we exhaled in preparation for 2020 of is there going to be a season or not? Because it's COVID.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Wild times. But you had an amazing career in Chicago, and I know you guys made that city
Thank you.
home when you were around.
Yeah, yeah. We love it there.
What was the best part about playing for the Bears?
I love I love the history of it. I love that it was the first team in the NFL. I love that it's family owned. I love the fan base. Going through that experience of getting cut so many times and wanting it so bad, it ended up taking 3.5 years to actually make a roster. And I wanted it so bad that when I finally broke through and got a job, it was my goal to be the happiest guy in the building every single day because I was so grateful and I knew how tough the process is. And I just wanted to soak in every single second of it. And I'm lucky that it lasted as long as it did. I don't have one favorite thing about it. Like all of it was just so cool and so awesome. I would go back and do it in an absolute heartbeat.
Do you have a favorite memory?
Yeah, I have lots of favorite memories, especially now, like sitting out a year. When guys say like they don't miss practice, they don't miss games, we don't. We don't miss any of that. But like when you miss the locker room, dude, I miss just like hanging out with like Cairo and Pat O'Donnell and like just goofing off, just the silly moments. But one of my favorite memories was when I first got the call. I was a free agent. I was working a 9 to 5. I was working for Worldwide Technology. Shout out Worldwide. A family friend hired me as a logistics company. So I'm working in a warehouse, no windows, gray cubicles, two computer screens. I'm checking inventory. I'm emailing customers, and I'm chasing this NFL dream. After those days, I go home. If I can work out, I work out, but I know that long snapping is the most important thing. So I go home and long snap first. And if I got time and energy, then I'll work out. But I know the team's going to pay me to long snap. So I'm going to long snap first. Anyways, I'm grinding this thing out. And we're at 3.5 years into this. My wife is questioning, hey, are we still doing this? Like, what are we doing here? Like, can we move on? Can we get real world going? And I'm like, no, like, I still have a belief. We're still chasing this. And it was a rainy Tuesday. I left early. I left work early. I don't even remember why, but I was gonna go visit Brandy and just like say hi to her at work before I go home. And on my way, it's pouring down rain, and I get a phone call from a Baltimore area code, and I kind of perk up, and I'm like, "Oh, what is this?" It's their scouts, and they're like, "Scales, are you ready? You've been snapping?" And I'm like, "Yep." So I said, "Okay, great. Our travel coordinator is gonna call you. Can you be on a flight tonight?" It's already like 4 or 5 p.m. And I'm like, can tell me to get on a flight at 6. I'll turn around. I'll go to the airport with no clothes. I don't care. Let's
Yeah.
do this. Yeah. And I'm like, yes, absolutely. So he's like, okay, great. So travel coordinator calls me, blah, blah, blah. So I show up to Brandy's work and this just happened. And I'm on like cloud nine, can't take the smile off my face. And she's like, what's going on? And I was like, I have something to tell you. I'm trying to like make it dramatic. And so I tell her and she starts crying. She's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. But then I go out and I practice, and then that week we play in Houston, and it's just the memory of working that 9 to 5, getting called on a Tuesday, and then on Sunday, I remember sitting on the sideline on the bench thinking like I'm in the NFL, like we did it, we're here. I'm playing a football game. There's 60,000 fans watching and screaming like this is so cool, dude. JJ Watt's right over there. Like what? What's going on?
That makes me emotional. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, that's so
yeah,
cool.
yeah. That was one of the cooler ones for sure.
I mean, I didn't even think about, yeah, you having a 9 to 5
Yeah.
while
Oh
you're
yeah.
trying to do this because there's no guarantee.
No, because I mean, like training camp, you don't make any money. You make very little. I think you make like a grand a week, and you're there for like 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, maybe. So you make like 6 grand. Like you can't live off that. So you go home, dude. I sold cell phones for Verizon. I have a master's degree. I have a business administration degree, and I didn't want to get into like a corporate role. I didn't want to get into something serious because I didn't want to leave it. and leave them high and dry because I wanted to chase this dream. So yeah, I sold cell phones at one point. I worked at Cabela's. I was outfitter Pat in the camping department. I was hooking people up.
What? No way.
And then
That's awesome.
and then finally a family friend. My dad networked with a family friend, and he's like, "Oh, Pat's in Dallas. Yeah, we have a warehouse there. I could definitely use his help." And so he hooked it up with a job, and I worked for them for like over a year or so at Worldwide Technology.
Wow. I mean, I had no idea.
Was I not always one of the happiest guys and like just trying to have the most fun because that's how I came into the league, dude. It sucked.
Always.
I sold cell phones to get to the league, dude. Like never again. I did not like that job. They tried to put quotas on me.
I was gonna say, how many cell phones did you sell? Respectfully, how many? Like, what?
Well, I had to sell like one a day, so I had to sell like 30 of the 40 of these things or something like that. Like you had to sell the insurance every single time with it. And I'm like, people don't want the insurance, and they said if you don't up your numbers, you're gonna have to go to training after hours. Yeah, by the grace of God, the Jets called me for training camp, and I was like, see you later, never again.
Like, bye, good luck with the phones.
Yeah, yeah,
My
don't call
gosh.
me.
Don't call me. That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Cabela's too. I mean, shout out Cabela's.
Shout out Cabela's.
Did you sell more at Cabela's than at the cell
Dude,
phone
yeah,
job?
yeah. I'm an outdoors guy for sure. I was in the camping department. Used to do overnights too. Overnight style, that was great. Actually, no customers were there. I enjoyed that.
Wait, where you're just in the store, like, at night? After hours?
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes they
Oh,
needed like people to do overnight shifts and stuff. So they had like an overnight team that would come in and restock all the shelves and make sure that inventory was correct and all that sort of thing. And then they had like a yearly inventory count of the entire store. So millions of items that you have to count. It took like a week or two. And so they're asking for people to do it. And I think they're paying like time and a half. And I was like, well, I'll try that
why
one.
not?
Yeah,
Did you
why
ever
not?
just, like, take the kayaks for a spin after hours or anything like that?
Hop in the fish tank with the kayak.
Yeah.
No, no, I thought about catching some of those fish though. They got huge fish in there.
Yeah. Wait, can we tell people the kayak story?
Yeah. Yeah, you tell it. Go for it.
A pivotal moment. No, you started off. So, these kayaks.
Mhm.
Kayaks, why were they being stored at Hallis Hall, first of
Are
all? We need to back up.
We're gonna back all the way up. I didn't even buy these kayaks.
Did we steal kayaks?
No, they were gifted to us from Brandy's parents when they moved out of their house. And so like, "You guys want these kayaks?" And Brandy's yeah, we're like, "Sure, like, we'll use them. Sure, once a year, twice a year, like, we'll figure out, we'll use them." So we've been storing these kayaks. We hardly use them at all. And then one year we found this awesome house to rent in Chicago. And we always rented houses. I never bought a house up there because I only signed 1 year deals. I don't know if you knew that, but I've only signed 1 year deals with
Mhm.
Chicago. So I never felt safe enough to buy a house. Anyways, so one year Brandy's like, let's bring these kayaks up because we were gonna spend like all of OTAs and training camp up there. Those kayaks didn't get used one time. They sat in the garage the entire time. And then upon moving out, they would not fit. They were too tall to like fit. You always use pods. They wouldn't fit in the pods. They were too tall, so you had to like lean them at like
Sure.
it's awkward. They took up way too much space, and they didn't fit. And so, being there for 10 years, I kind of became the mayor a little bit, so I knew everybody. So I asked old Kent Rock if I could store them at the indoor facility. Sure, absolutely, Pat. Anything, absolutely. You just absolutely, buddy. You tell me when you need them, I'll get them out for you. So yeah, that's the story of the kayaks. So then what if we finally get when I finally get like didn't get re-signed, then I had to call you for help because I had to go get these kayaks. I had to fly from Dallas. I'm like, I gotta get my kayaks from Dallas.
So there we were. So I picked Pat up at the
Yeah.
airport, and we're driving to Hallis Hall to get these kayaks because your car was parked at Hallis and you were gonna drive back to
Yeah,
Texas.
that's
So
right.
I picked you up, and then we took these kayaks and put them in your car to make the trip back to Texas. Now I have to ask, are the kayaks still with us, and have they been used yet?
They are. They are with us. I have them hanging in my garage. And they have been used. Brandy for Mother's Day. Brandy was like, "We're going kayaking. We're gonna use these. I want to go kayaking." So we snuck onto there's a neighborhood right next to us that's like private HOA the whole nine, and we snuck onto their grounds and launched these kayaks into the lake.
That's awesome. I'm so glad that they're getting used and that it made it all worth it.
Indeed.
Uh,
Thank you
that's
again for
so
helping load
funny.
those.
Anytime. I'm gonna come down and come kayaking. I know you'll probably give somewhat of a PR answer, which I do understand, but this was your first year not playing in a long
Yeah.
time, and the Bears did pretty well this year, and the
Mhm.
city was a little bit on
Mhm.
fire,
Mhm.
and what is that like watching that? I would assume you're still rooting for them, and that's the answer you're gonna give, but in all seriousness, I feel like I can relate to it a little bit. It's like you're not there all the time. You're not
Mhm.
there anymore, and what is going through your head when this is happening?
Yeah. I'm gonna start the story off with, and I was fully expecting to compete again for the job. So in March, Pulse called me and said, "Hey, we're gonna move a different direction." I felt very blindsided by that, and it felt like it was all ripped away. And so watching them be good and succeed and have a great year, man, I'm not gonna I was salty for sure. I would definitely wish that I was part of it. I've kind of digested all that now, but I was definitely salty. Yeah. I didn't want the Bears to do bad, but I was just upset at the situation and the way that my career ended. And I say that knowing that most guys don't get to choose how their career ends and all that. So I get all that. But, it was hard. It was hard. A lot of times some games I didn't watch just because I was saltier that week than the average week. I probably would have given my left leg to play in that playoff game against Green Bay, though, in the snow.
Yeah.
Fucking come on.
Yeah.
That's what dreams are made of right there. That was
Yeah.
awesome, though. That was cool. I wanted them to win that game, like, so bad. I didn't at that point,
Mhm.
I didn't care. I'm like, "Come on, Bears. Let's do this." And then after that game, I was like, "Alright, y'all can lose now."
That's enough. It's
Yeah,
always
oh,
beat Green Bay, but then, like, relax. We're
yes,
yeah.
yes. If they would've went to the Super Bowl or won the Super Bowl, I probably wouldn't even be doing this podcast right now.
Yeah, no, that's you just get off social, like, altogether, which you're recently back on social media or
I'm back. I'm
you're back?
back. I'm
That
back
doesn't
on.
help though, you know that, right? Like, during the season, like,
No,
that had to be
no.
terrible.
It's horrible, horrible. Everyone's hyping it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
was interesting. It was interesting just to, like, sit here and watch from a fan's perspective. It's kinda funny though, like, it's the story of my career 'cause okay, I played football from 6th grade through 10 years, 11 years in the NFL. I've had 1 winning football season. 1. So it's kind of the story
wow.
of my career. It makes sense that they took off when I left. But at Utah State, like, we weren't good. Not that I'm a bad luck charm, I don't think. Maybe I am, I don't know. But I've recently been, like, digging more into my faith and, like, I feel like there's no coincidences.
Yeah,
And God placed me at Utah State. We weren't very good. Well, where can a long snapper thrive? On a team that's not very good. A lot of punts, right?
true. Yeah,
Yeah, and so, like, that got me a ton of reps, and it got me somewhat prepared for the NFL, right? And then going into the NFL, like, I played a ton, and of course, I wish we would have won, but I feel like I made every moment matter, and it was a great situation for me. So, I try to find the silver linings and stuff like that. It's kinda crazy.
it is crazy. It's easier as you, like, dig into your faith more your Mormon faith. Just kidding, and all of that. No, it's easier when you, like, zoom out a little and see the big
Yeah,
picture, but when you get caught up in that day to day and, like, this, it's just it can be brutal to pull yourself out of sometimes, and I'm sure
yeah,
after playing there had to be, like, a little bit of stages of, like, anger, acceptance, whatever, all of that,
for
because
sure.
you were gonna try and get picked up by another team this summer.
Yeah.
That was still the goal, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, if any team wants to call, I can still sling it. I'm just throwing it out there.
PSA right now, he's still
Yeah, holler
available.
at your boy. Yeah. Yeah, I was still trying to play, but for sure, anger, grief, all that sort of thing. I went through all those stages, and it was tough. I mean, I have so much to be thankful for, right? Like the Bears
Mm,
gave me so much, and I have this wonderful life, and I made my dreams come true, and live that dream of playing in the NFL, and it's so awesome. But it was ripped away from me, and I got all of those emotions thrown at me. Honestly, at like the new year, at like January, I was so sick of just like being mad and frustrated and salty every day that I was stuck in this horrible flight pattern of this terrible mental attitude. And finally I was like, I gotta snap out of this. Like I'm gonna choose to be better. I'm gonna choose to digest this. We have to move on. I can't keep doing this. So that's kinda how it went down. And I'm much better for it. I feel way better. My head feels clearer. I feel like happier, feel back to myself. So I'm like, yeah, we're good.
And it's funny too, because I've had those moments in my life where I'm same thing, and it's just the patterns, and it really is amazing how quickly once you decide, you can snap out of it.
Yes. Yes.
And it's weird because it's like, but I haven't done this for the last 6 months. I've been miserable and I've just been like a shell
Yeah.
of myself but today's a sunny day and now we're just gonna like we've turned over a new leaf.
It's
It's
just a
like,
choice. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's like, literally, like, whatever you think you can, right? So
Mhm.
choose to be what you wanna be, and you can. And it's crazy, like, your mind is ultra powerful, and as long as you can focus and do that, you can. It's simple, yet very hard, you know?
Yeah, totally.
It's cool, though.
We're constantly evolving and dealing with it, I feel like. So you've had this, okay, I'm changing my attitude. I'm starting a new venture. Is this when
Yep.
sales long snapping sort of came to fruition? Because that's the new thing, right?
Yes, scales long snapping. Any long snappers listening to this, all of your long snapper audience. Yeah, I'm starting a long snapping training. I honestly was trying not to just because of the saltiness and wanting to like separate myself from it. But everything I do kind of leads me back to it. And I've been working with some kids. I was, praying and asking like, what, like, point me a direction. What am I supposed to be doing? Because I'm kind of lost here. I have a finance degree with an MBA. I could do a lot of stuff, but I don't know like what to do and what direction to go. And so Brandy's been pushing me to do this, and I'm like, I don't even know if I'll like it. I don't know if I like coaching. I don't, blah blah blah. What I'm making all these excuses, right? And so I start working with this one kid for free, and he's at a D2 school, and he's really good. And the first time I worked with him, I'm like, you should not be a Division 2 snapper. Like you have Division 1 traits and qualities, and your snap is what it needs to be. Like you're good. Um, and so day one of launching Scales Long Snapping, I get a call from an old teammate at Utah State. And he's like, hey, dude, I just got a new job as taking up special teams at this D1 school. Do you have anybody? And it was just like light bulb, like no coincidences. I have this kid at D2 who is primed for it. He's 6'2", 230. He's super strong, lives in the weight room, snaps a laser. I'm like, yeah, I got a guy for you for sure. So that was my day one. And I'm like, if there's ever a sign that I should be doing this, like maybe that was it. I don't know. So
So
yeah,
scales long snapping success rate day 1 was
yeah,
100%.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like, productivity through
We
the
just
roof.
That's awesome though, because I mean, I do feel like there's all these different camps and different
Yeah.
players who are doing these camps, and this really isn't a position that gives you a lot of preparation. I mean, even you said you could have
Hmm.
benefited from those first 2 years if you had a resource like this. I'm sure it would have been a lot different.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. There's some guys that are coaching long snapping, some ex-players, some guys have been doing it for 20, 30 years, but there's not many of them. And I'm kind of lucky. I live in Dallas, and it's a mecca of football down here, Texas football, right? So I'm trying to get plugged in with all these high school and all these kids. I want to start running camps. I plan on doing a Dallas camp this year. I want to come to Chicago and do a Chicago camp, get some kids together, start snapping balls. I got a buddy in Kansas City who's a high school coach too, so I want to do a camp out in Kansas City. Like I'm super excited about this. All of the response that I've had so far has been that these kids are hungry for it. They want knowledge and experience, and that's something that I bring that some of the other guys don't have. Is I have that NFL experience, and people like that. And yeah, it's been great. It's been really good so far. I'm extremely pumped up about it.
That's awesome. That's so exciting and good for you for using, your experience and being able to embrace it sort of in life after football, cuz like you said I think that takes some accepting and then to go no, I'm going to use all of my experience and help people. That's really
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah, exactly. And if I have so much knowledge about long snapping, it takes up quite a bit of room in my brain. If I don't pass this on, it's just going to be a waste. So I'm like, why not? Why
So
not help
true.
people?
So is this a full-time thing, or what else you got going on in the daily life of Pat Scales now?
I am a full-time homeschool professor to my own children, so that's been fun. That's been a struggle too. More good days than bad though, thankfully. But it's been a lot of
Oh,
fun, and it's been
what are
very
we on,
interesting.
like, fractions? Remind me of the grades. I mean,
We are
what's
in 2nd grade. No, no, it's nothing crazy, but we are just adding, subtracting. We're learning about money and decimal points. And shoot, we went over putting a in front of a word versus as, with the vowels and all that.
yeah.
Yeah, just it's just basic language arts, math. We do some science in there. We do some fun experiments.
Professor Pat, okay.
Yeah, Professor Pat, that's right.
Is that what
I was
they
actually
call you?
no, no, I wish. No, I call Brainy the principal. I'm just the teacher.
Yeah, when's your yearly review?
I know. I'm a little nervous for it.
Wait, that is interesting though, because now I feel like since I'm living this, homesteading life, if I ever have kids, I guess I'd have to homeschool them. So, how do you run that? I mean, do you I assume it's not like class all day long, or do you have
No,
it like fit your schedule? Is it Monday to Friday? Like, what do you do?
it's beautiful. This is why we did Brainy started it while we were playing because she was traveling back and forth all the time. She's like, "I don't wanna take the
Mhm.
kids out of school to come see a game," or, like, if we wanna stay up there for, like, 2 weeks or whatever, like, I want the freedom to do that. And so we started this homeschooling, and now it's like, "Do you guys wanna go to the beach for a week?" And we can, like, knock out homeschooling in the morning and then hit the beach in the after like, you can take it anywhere, right? It's taking
Yeah.
textbooks and stuff, so, maybe you pack an extra bag, but you can do it anywhere, and it allows a ton of versatility to it. But, yeah, we probably do however fast my pupils work is how fast we can get it done. It probably takes us anywhere from, like, an hour and a half to 2.5 hours a day. So it's nothing crazy. Reading, writing, math, science. Yeah, it's been great though. It's been really awesome. And we talk to these people and I second guess it a bunch and I'm like, are we doing the right thing here? Like if they were in school, like what would they be doing differently? And I'm talking to these other parents and they're like, they kids have like computers in their school and they're like watching Bluey on it for 2 hours a day in the afternoon. And I'm like, perfect. We're not missing anything. We're
Great.
not missing
Or taking
anything.
care of the chickens, like learning useful skills. Yeah.
Yeah, and Brandy's mom was an elementary school teacher for like 20 plus years, and so anytime they're in town, I'm like, "Pam, will you do school today? Tell me how the kids are doing. Are we up to speed? Are we lacking?" Like, because if obviously if this is like detrimental, like no, we're skipping out and doing something else. But every time she has said that they are great, they're ahead if anything. So I'm like, all right, cool, I'm
That's
in.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah, it's been
Wow.
awesome.
So cool. Well, I mean, you're crushing it. Your family is just the best. You guys gotta come to Are you coming to Wyoming this summer?
We are deciding that well, I'm trying to plan all these football camps, so I'm like, I don't know. We're trying
Yeah.
to sneak it in. I mean,
Okay. Well, Utah State's not too far from me now, so, if you're
yeah,
back
let's
there,
go.
let me
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
But
for sure, I will.
all right, before we wrap up, we are gonna do our 1-minute drive brought to you by Chevy Drives Chicago. This is our
Oh,
rapid
no.
fire segment where you just answer these questions as fast as you can in 1 minute. What's your favorite movie?
Oh, man. I don't even know. There's so many of them. Uh, Onward.
Is that a movie?
Yeah, it's a Disney movie. Get out of here.
I thought you were like, "Next question." Okay. What
Fair.
what food could you eat every day?
Cereal.
One place you wanna travel to.
Switzerland.
Biggest pet peeve.
When I'm cooking dinner and someone comes by and eats a little bite of any ingredient, drives me nuts.
So specific. Okay. What's a hobby you wish you had?
Welding.
Oh. One song you have memorized.
Your Way's Better, Forrest Frank.
What's something you're most proud of?
My family.
What app do you use the most?
Uh, Instagram.
Biggest fear.
Biggest fear. Going broke. Being poor, trying to make the NFL, dude. I ain't doing it again. I ain't doing it again.
I was thinking like I would say spiders or something over here, but
No, no.
yeah, no, that's a good one. Okay, any hidden talents that we need to know about?
I used to play in the orchestra. I was a stand-up bass guy. Yeah,
No way. Could you still do it?
probably. I could figure it out. Give me a week. Yeah, I
It's
could
like
take that
riding a
thing
bike.
for a I could take that thing for a walk. Yeah.
All right.
Ba-doom-ba-doom-ba-doom.
Let us know when it's when the kids go to music class and they're homeschooling. We'd like to see the
Okay. All right.
orchestra segment.
Yeah, we got you. Scales Orchestra.
Amazing.
We'll do a Christmas album.
So good. Pat, Patrick, thanks so much for joining me here on the Out Route. You're the
Absolutely.
best.
Thank you. Had a blast.